Live in 5, 4, 3, 2. We're live.
Good morning, Owasso. This is the Twins with Owasso Live, and this is the Morning Loop. It is currently 51 degrees outside, which is pretty sweet. We ran to the gym this morning, and it was nice. I mean, my hands were probably the only thing that were slightly cold when I was running, but I mean, it wasn't that bad. So, good weather out today, light jacket weather. If that, you could. I mean, I'm just wearing this T-shirt, and I feel okay outside. So. With that being said, we got a high of 78 today, so that's pretty sweet as well. So it's almost 80s in February. So this is awesome weather. I'm excited to do some exercising and stuff after work. So that is going to be a good time for me and probably the majority of Owasso. Like I said, we will be passing people on our walk and jog this evening. So it's just good weather, good times, loving it.
Mm-hmm.
So in upcoming local events,
We got traffic.
oh, yeah, my bad. Forgot about traffic. Thank you. So, traffic conditions it's pretty slow right now, pretty congested. So, traffic conditions into Tulsa are heavy and slow and steady. So, if you are on your way or you haven't left yet, take 75. And because I can't see what's slowing it down from here.
Yeah, or go down 76, get off at 76 race to go down Mingo or something.
For sure. So, again, it's always right here where it's congested. It's that 76th Street on-ramp is every time. And I'm thinking it's because it's, the on-street ramp is 2-lane, and then it converges into 1-lane right as you get up there at the entrance, and I just don't think people are stopping for traffic, and people are just coming to a stop.
Mm-hmm.
So, just be advised, 76th Street Bridge is going to be your congestion point, but it's still backed up pretty good here back by the Y. So just be advised, your traffic conditions are slow and steady. Upcoming events here in Owasso area. What's going on, Chad?
Not a thing. Like I said, that as I said the other day, Owassoisms has nothing on the schedule until March 3rd, and that was it for the Owasso Chamber. Just that leadership, Owasso leadership event. And
Okay.
There's nothing else on the event calendars. I'll double check here in a little bit to make sure that nothing else popped up just randomly, but that's it on at least on Owassoisms and the Owasso Chamber of Commerce pages.
Good deal. Well, so not a lot going on in the Owasso area. If there is anything going on, let us know. Like I said, reach out. Keep us in the zeitgeist of the Owasso area. We want to know what's going on. So, with that being said, you were wanting to talk about some more national news. The Georgia corruption case with the district attorney Fani Willis.
That's right. Like I said, Fani Willis.
We actually spoke about this not too long ago. I think we got a couple of the pieces incorrect, or we just didn't have.
We didn't have names. I didn't know that her name was Fani Willis. Just knew that she was the Georgia DA. Was all that I really knew about. But yeah, Fani Willis has been going after Donald Trump for saying that he was asking for votes or looking for votes or whatever in Georgia. So she was going after him, and she literally ran her campaign that she was going to go
prosecute
after Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
So already got elected on a a vendetta or a crusade to go after the man.
At least she's staying true to her campaign promise.
Yeah.
Despite the fact it looks like she's being accused of fraud and...
Correct. That's what's going on right now is she is being looked at for fraud because one of the special prosecutors
prosecutor.
No, there's 3 or 4. But I said one of the special prosecutors, the one that's being paid the most, turns out that they seem to be in a relationship. And they have been using funds and stuff to go on trips and vacations and all sorts of things together. And it's not looking good for her at all. And if this turns out to be the case, all her hard work gets completely trashed because it's fraudulent. Yeah. Everything about what she's doing is fraudulent.
So, and I'm going to point this out right here. So she appointed this guy who's, I guess, her lover, boyfriend, whatever, as a special prosecutor. He has again, you don't have to have legal experience in order to do law in a certain area. As long as you have your law degree, you can do law. But that's why it's the same as being a doctor or whatever. You specialize in a certain field and get good at it so you can be the best lawyer in that field. So if you want to be a family lawyer, you become a family lawyer. If you want to become a criminal lawyer, you become a criminal lawyer. Now, it's not to say you can't shift and move around, but to think you're going to make a lateral move and be good at that particular field. So before I get way ahead of myself, this is what the special prosecutor, that's her boyfriend or lover, he was a traffic court and family small claims attorney. And now he's assisting in the special prosecution
against
in a state DA prosecution of Donald Trump and his alleged corruption for trying to figure out what happened to these 11,000 votes. So you're telling me this guy knows what he's looking for and is doing all this because he, as a traffic claims court, has a great understanding of this? Now, again, that's not to say he can't know stuff about it. Maybe he was to give him the steel man's position, maybe he was practicing for this his entire life, but nobody could have seen this coming. Like, nobody could have seen election fraud coming. It's like, oh, I was an understudy under this, Fannie Willis for election fraud cases. It's like, really? That's awful convenient timing too.
Yeah. Just saying, I don't think that if this had been we'll just say a more right-leaning attorney, I don't think that they'd be getting nearly as much leeway with this. They'd be demanding this person needs to be resigned from their position and removed immediately.
Yeah, and she's getting a lot of grace, and she is kind of playing the race card quite a bit. She's gone, and they're doing this because I'm an African-American woman of color, and I just think that's silly. Corruption is corruption regardless of race.
Yep.
And if you argue any other point differently, you're holding up, you're literally stonewalling justice from happening. And anybody who supports her is stonewalling justice from happening. Again, unbiased people in this court who are listening to these people's testimonies, like this Fannie Willis, when she was going, yeah, I keep 6 months' pay just laying around the house in cash. And you're like, and she's saying that
$9,000 in cash.
Yeah, like, that's crazy. And she even had her dad come up and say, yeah, I told her to do that. It's like, her dad was a lawyer too. It's like, why? Why would you do that? So people, again, there were people in the courtroom literally laughing at their testimonies. So that gives you some indication of how ridiculous this sounds to average folks like you or I. So a lot of corruption currently going on in the government. There's always going to be. Human nature is, we're always going to do things to benefit ourselves. If you pay somebody more to do less, you can bet they're never going to work another day again in their life.
Or work any harder than they have to.
Absolutely. So that's the way it is. Some people have their eyes open. They go, I want this. I want to have this stuff, and I'll work as hard as I have to get it. And a lot of people work as hard as they have to try to get it and never get it. And some people do. They're able to weaponize that knowledge and know how to get what they want. But using government funds to do it, not a good thing. Especially when you're in a position like a DA.
Absolutely.
Where you're supposed to be prosecuting the corrupt people in our society. Instead, you're one of the corrupt people playing loose and paying people overtime for being on vacation. So it's pretty crazy. So was there anything else you wanted to discuss about this particular case?
Not particularly. Just looks like all the stuff that they're bringing up against, like I said, Trump just seems to be very suspicious, speculative, nothing of real substance.
Yeah, they're just throwing everything against the wall and seeing what's going to stick. And again, that's the only card they have to play. They're just going to try. Like I said, the media did a very good job of just giving into the Trump hate the whole time. Like, if you heard nothing but bad things about a person, you should realize you're probably being lied to. If you hear nothing but bad things, you're being manipulated. Period. There's always a good quality or a good trait that you could mention about somebody or something, despite the what you hear about them. You know, even people as evil as Stalin, you know, I mean, he loved his kids. You know, he protected his kids from, you know, nepotism-wise, similar to the Joe Biden, Hunter Biden stuff. His kids were morons and fools who were, you know, able to get away with murder. I mean, Stalin's son had his own hockey team and killed half of them in like a plane crash or something like that. Some type of event. And like I said, he just swept it under the rug to protect his kids. You know, it's like, hey, man, you can say all you want about what a horrible person he was, but he loved and protected his kids. So, terrible thing, though. I said, Joe Biden clearly loves Hunter. He's protecting him. Good for him. That's something that we can say is at least admirable. It's like they love their kids. Good for them. So, with that being said, hopefully this whole corruption thing comes to light and these people are removed from power and less corrupt people are put in to replace them. But I don't know. Corruption goes deep, man. It goes real deep. And like I said, even replacing them with a right-wing person doesn't mean that it's going to be not corrupt. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I mean, it's like when that's why I like Kerry Lake, the GOP, you know, whoever he was the guy that was basically in charge of the election advisor or whatever, came out and was like, hey, we would like you not to run this time, and we'll put you on a board or wherever we need to do so you can make lots of money. It's like, man, I wish I had that kind of power. True. And then Kerry Lake had the mental fortitude to say no. So good on her. I mean, like, everybody's got a price, folks. Everybody. I mean, very few people are morally incorruptible. It's like, hey, look, you'll retire comfortably. We'll make sure your kids go to the nicest schools. It's like literally, what was that? It was a guy from trigonometry. I love him. It's Constantine, right?
Yeah, Constantine.
Gosh, yeah, he had one of the best speeches I've ever heard. You should watch it. It was his. I think it's his Oxford speech,
his Oxford
right?
speech about whether climate.
Yes,
his thoughts on
he was
climate
like,
change.
He said something, and I'm paraphrasing, but he said something along the lines of, these people who are arguing for climate change is the most pressing issue in the world. He goes, if you could tell any parent in this room right now, if you could guarantee that your kids would always have a warm roof over their head, always have a full belly every day, and be able to go and pursue their dreams and happiness and pursue a higher education, and all they had to do was press a button and a couple of CO2 emissions would be pumped out into the air to do it. There's not a parent in the world who wouldn't break their hand pushing that button.
That's correct.
Period. So I know that's kind of an off-subject tangent there, but I agree with that sentiment, and that's the same sentiment that should be applied to what we were talking about.
Yes.
Like with the corruption of Kerry Lake. I mean, it's like the fact that, you know, it's like, hey, you'll never have to worry about a thing again. You'll be pointed to a board. You'll make a couple of $1 million a year, or $1 million. I mean, even if it's just $1 million, it's like you'll be fine. You can hire investors to invest this money, and you'll have money making money because of the investments that we have. Boom. That's, like I said, that the fact that she was not able to say no, I don't want to push that button, is pretty incredible.
True.
So
very true.
Good on her. Kind of some wild tangents again today. We just kind of go, and whenever we hit a subject that we find interesting, we just keep talking. But that's about all we've got for you today, folks. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. This is the Twins with the Owasso Live, and this was the Morning Loop. God bless everyone out there.